short supply, nobody is getting high.
Let him up and step aside. I had no choice.
What's going on, my peoples? So for today's video, we're gonna have basically the downfall of Mecca, aka Dante Spears. Now, if you like this video, right, give me a big old subscribe. Your boy trying to hit 1K soon. I want to try to have that community tab open. So yo, hit me up, hit me with a subscribe and also a like. I very much appreciate you. Now, downfall of Mecca, boy, the GOAT of global snitching, the man who have unfortunately met his demise by the one that he loved. Now, before I even get to her part, now, the downfall of Mecca basically starts with part one would be Cain. Because when Mecca first came in, and he saw Cain, and then he was just like, okay, Tahada, this and that, because he already knew who Monet and Zeke, he kind of knew, so he was just like, okay, let me try to manipulate Cain. And that was like one of his downfalls and his mistakes, because he figured, I'm going to play chess and manipulate Cain so that way I can get to Monet, which worked. But it inevitably led to his downfall because he kind of overplayed his cards a little bit too much with Cain and stuff. Because, yeah, he bitched Cain in a couple of episodes and stuff. And he was trying to show his authority and his dominance and his manipulation on Cain. And like, well, maybe you should do this and then you're supposed to do that and stuff. And when you think about it, it was his own manipulations that got Cain into doing something stupid, which basically had Cain take Ramirez's badge and put it in Tariq's room. So technically, that was a fuck up on his part because he manipulated Cain into doing that, despite him not fully understanding and knowing the full facts that was there, and just blowing up this whole proportion, making the whole big mess between Tariq, and having Tariq literally fight for his survival on trying to get out of that mess because it was something that Cain did, because Cain wouldn't have been smart enough to come up with that plan because it was Mecca, and Mecca blew up everything. It was his fucking fault. So that was his downfall there completely. Now, the second downfall I would kind of say would have been Tariq. Tariq was literally like his downfall, because he immediately knew who Tariq was the moment when Tariq followed Cain. And that's when he was just like, okay, because, when he had Nuff, the guy that was downstairs, and he was like, oh, who's this kid? And Nuff beat the hell out of him. And he was like, and he was looking through the mirror. He was looking through the camera, and he was looking, and he immediately knew who Tariq was. And it was his downfall right then and there. He could have killed Tariq. He could have had Tariq dead right there on the spot.
Did you know him? You let him follow you here?
But he chose to leave him alone because Mecca was like, wait, do you know this kid? And he was like, no, I don't know. But he knew who Tariq was, because you find out in season, and if you find out in episode 9 where he was just like, oh, I know who you are, I know who Ghost was, and I know what you did to him. So he immediately knew who Tariq was. And despite Cain trying to play it off and say, oh, I don't know who that is and stuff, that was a downfall there because he overplayed his cards and stuff. Because sure, Mecca and Ghost never met. They never met, but he was snitching, right? And that kind of trajectory led into Tariq's way and stuff, where he thought, oh, I'm going to, use my influence and I'm going to threaten him to get my way. But it failed, because he's dealing with a St. Patrick. So Tariq immediately got the evidence, he got his bag, and he planned everything out. And that was another downfall, because if Mecca was so smart, he should have known that Lorenzo wasn't as smart enough to come up with this plan, and that it was either between Monet and maybe Tariq. But he never seen Tariq as that guy. He just saw him as he's some kid, but without him understanding that he's the son of Ghost. Why would you take Tariq lightly if you knew Tariq was the one that killed Ghost, and you knew that Ghost was working with Lobos and Tommy? They was all in there in that connection. So why would you take Tariq lightly if Tariq was the one that killed Ghost? So it's like that was a downfall and a misplay on Mecca's part, because he should have known who Tariq was, and he should have killed him right then and there. So, you know, again, he fucked up with that part. And then, oh, and also having Tariq bitch him in the room at the same time and getting the information that he was an informant. So it was like, boy, you got bitch made right now. You got fucking bitch made. And then, lastly, Monet. Boy. And it's like love hurts. Love hurts because, you know, he tried so hard to get Monet. He really did. He tried so hard to get her back and stuff without realizing that's not the same woman you've known when you were 16 years old, 15 years old. This is a completely different woman. She already has a man. She already has kids and stuff. And he felt like, I'm gonna try to come back into her life. I'm gonna manipulate things behind the scene without her knowing it, and I'm gonna have everything that I wanted. Now, it could have worked. It could have worked that everything could have played out, but Lorenzo came out of jail. Right? Diana set the whole thing up, got him out of jail. So it kind of like derailed the love story, but he still felt like he can get her. He still felt like everything was great, but he kind of didn't see that wasn't the same woman. So that love was a blind spot, and he figured that, you know, there was this trust, and which, you know, Courtney Kip kind of played it off where it was like Ghost and Angela. But see, Angela never killed Ghost. She arrested him. She arrested him because she thought that he killed Gregory Knox, which he didn't do, right? But she arrested him. She never killed him. But even when she was arresting him, part of her heart and soul was kind of breaking because the man that she loved, she asked to put him in jail because she knew he was Ghost and she thought he was the one that did it. But in Monet's case, it's like Lorenzo was back and stuff. So it was a misplay on his part because he should have known that, okay, if Lorenzo was behind it, which he wasn't, then he should have been like, wait a minute, am I getting played here? Because even when they was on the boat and they was talking, it was just like, we're gonna have to plan out on killing Lorenzo, and Kane has to be the one to do it, and this and that and stuff. You know, it was kind of, again, it was a downfall because he tried to manipulate things and it failed. And when people was to ask and say, oh, was Mecca Ghost like? I did say in my previous videos that he was moving Ghost like, but he will never be the original Ghost. He was moving Ghost like, but he will never be the original Ghost. And on top of that, since he was a snitch, he lost points. Like, he lost points because Ghost never ratted anybody out. He never did that shit. So it's like, no, he lost points. So, he didn't see it until the end that he was alone with Monet. Now, even if it was true or not that he was gonna kill Tariq and then Monet, I don't think it would have happened because he came along. He said, I would never hurt you, this and that and stuff, and then Monet shoots him. But he should have seen that everything leading up to, Monet shooting him, he should have known that when he had that phone, and I think one of his guys sent him a text saying something, but he should have been like, wait a minute, Lorenzo's not dead. Something's going on here. Wait a minute. I don't think, and then he should have known something was off, but he didn't. He was so caught up in the moment, like, I have Zeke and I'm gonna have her, that he failed to realize that Monet, not Zeke, yeah, sure, her and Mecca, they had like Zeke, but she got technically 4, and she was kind of like gambling with Lorenzo and the rest of the family, not him, despite him having the money, the resources, the connects. But then it changed everything because he was an informant, which, again, it was a downfall because Tariq got the information and told him. He was like, wait, he's a snitch? He has to go because we have to wait into season 3. Like, was he going after them or was he going after somebody else? Or wait until Courtney Kid makes like a live stream or something to clarify those answers or whatever. But, love was a blind spot. Now, the thing is, when it came down to James St. Patrick and Angela, sure, he was doing the things that he was doing, but he never he did allow love to like change his views and kind of like sway him of getting out the game and stuff. But at the ending, when it was like him and Tommy and stuff, he was like, oh, like when the DA stuff was coming down like really hard, and he was like, I'm not, we ain't saying nothing, brother. It was like, you know, he still kept it as to, I love you, but I don't trust you anymore type thing. Like, I still love you, but I don't trust you type thing. Mecca didn't have that. He went full on, I love you, I trust everything, I believe you, simping, right? Almost like he was simping, like, so he didn't see none of the pieces, and eventually it got him killed. It got his ass killed. So, you know, this was a little short list. It was only 3 people. Only 3 people that led up to Mecca's downfall was Cain, manipulating Cain into thinking he was gonna have it all, then trying to manipulate everything around Monet, and which failed because she chose Lorenzo over him because she kept it down for him for, I think, what was it, 10 years, right? And then it was Tariq, was basically underestimating him, believing that, okay, you know, sure, he killed his father, but he's just a kid in college. But again, he had the bag, he got the information, he basically bitched him in his room. So it's like Mecca fell the fuck off. He lost points. He fell off, he lost points, and the poor bastard is dead. So shit. But you know, post your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Like, do you think that Mecca was like, would you think that he was a ghost, or do you think that the motherfucker, he was good too? He was good so far in the first parts and beginning halves of power, but then he just fucking lost. He was like a fucking a stale gum. After the gum no longer has sugar, you spit the shit out like that shit dry. But you know, comment, like, subscribe, share. I'll catch you all in the next one.